to you, sir.
Yes, Prabhu, Raghupathi Prabhu. Yeah, you can please start the class and
okay.
Yeah, so there are viewers on YouTube as well.
Okay, wonderful. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijan Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajijanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajijanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajijanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajijanaranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Nitai Gaure Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Jai Vishnupada Paramhans Prabhupada Ashtotra Shastri Srimad Krishna Kripa Murti ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय। श्री राधाष्टमी महामहोत्सव की जय। श्रीमती सीता ठकुरानी की जय। श्री अद्वैताचार्य प्रभु की जय। समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all on this Zoom Sangha organized by His Grace Gauranga Prabhu for Manchester devotees and anyone who is logged on. So welcome you all. It's so nice to be in your association. The topic for today is the glories of Sita Thakurani and Srimati Radharani. Radhashtami will be celebrated in a couple of days' time on Wednesday. So we will start with the glories and pastimes of Sita Thakurani, the divine consort of Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu, and then move on to hear about the glories of Srimati Radharani. Hare Krishna. Magyanitimrandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshulmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yen Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadikamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagar Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvita. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapti Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalptaru bhayasya kripa sindhu bhayevicha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vacharam pungum langhite girim. Yet kripatam ham vande, Shri Gurum Dinatarane, Paramanand Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So Srimati Sita Thakurani, the consort of Advaitacharya Prabhu, plays the similar kind of role as Purnamasi in Vrindavan, because she is Purnamasi. She is the incarnation of Purnamasi, who makes all the arrangements for Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. So in Gaur Leela, Srimati Sita Thakurani appears along with her sister Sri Devi. So Sita Devi and her sister Sri Devi, who is Lakshmi herself, they appear in the house of Narsimha Bhaduri, Pandit Narsimha Bhaduri, a very qualified great Brahmana. So we see that many of the characters, along with the Lord himself, they appear in Brahmana's family. The Lord appears, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Jagannath Mishra, Advaitacharya Prabhu in a Brahmana family, to Kuber Pandit, and then we see that many other associates of the Lord, including Nityanand Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu, Srinivas Pandit Prabhu, all 5 features of the Lord Panchatattva, and then many other associates, they appear in Brahmana family, in Gaur Leela. So, Narsingha Pandit, he is a combined incarnation of Kshirodadi and Himavana. So Kshirodadi, the milk ocean, and Himavan, Himalaya. He is combined incarnation of 2 personalities. This is so because Advaitacharya Prabhu himself is combined incarnation of Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. So his consort is also combined incarnation of Mahalakshmi and Mahamaya or Yogamaya. It's combined incarnation. The way Sita Thakurani, Sita Devi appeared is very mystical. The birth of Sita Thakurani is very similar to Srimati Radharani. It so happened that Advaitacharya Prabhu, he came to Navadvip to complete his Vedic education. So he was known as Kamalaksha, born to Kuber Pandit in East Bengal, Srihatta. And he came to Navadvip, studied there, and after he studied, he settled in 2 places. One was Navadvip, and another place he settled was Shantipur. And he became very famous, very renowned for his scholarship, for his devotion. So he became the leader of all the Brahmanas at that time. Advaitacharya when he was young, as a young man, one day took many brahmanas with him and went to the bank of Ganga to take his bath. Then shortly he noticed that a boat was coming towards him, and on that boat there was a great Brahmana, Narsingha Bhaduri, along with his two daughters. So when the Brahmana Narsingha Bhaduri came, he offered his obeisances to Advaita Acharya Prabhu. And Advaita Acharya Prabhu also accepted him as his guest. So he invited him to become his guest. Narsingha Bhaduri had heard the glories of Advaita Acharya Prabhu, and he was convinced that this personality, Advaita Acharya, is actually Sadashiva. So he said to him that I know that you are Sadashiva, and I have brought my two daughters to offer to you, because I cannot conceive any better husband for them than your divine grace. So Advaita Acharya Prabhu requested him to become his guest. So in Advaita Prabhu's assembly, there is a description in the scriptures that in that assembly, Advaita Prabhu revealed his four-armed Mahavishnu form to Narsingha Bhaduri. And Narsingha Bhaduri immediately fainted, and he was in ecstasy. When he came to his senses, then by that time Advaita Prabhu had assumed a very royal form like a king, and he was sat on a golden throne. And in his assembly, there was Yadunandan Acharya as his deputy. There was Pandit Krishnadas as his secretary, Brahma Haridas or Haridas Thakur as his minister, and Shyamananda Acharya as his matchmaker. So then he saw that there was a great assembly, and a kingly personality sat on a golden throne was waiting for some decision to be made. So immediately, the great matchmaker, Shyamananda Pandit, Shyamananda Acharya, he proposed that Advaita Acharya is the suitable match for two divine daughters of Narsingha Bhaduri, and they must be married immediately. So they found a suitable moment, and Advaita Acharya got married to Sita Devi and Sri Devi. So Advaita Acharya, like Nityanand Prabhu, had two wives, Ma Janava, and then she also had he also had another wife. So similarly, Advaita Acharya also had two wives, Sita Devi and Sri Devi. Now, Advaita Acharya, having gotten married, then in the meantime, Srivas Acharya approached Advaita Acharya, and he praises Advaita Acharya as the incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. He also recognizes that Sita Devi is non-different from Yogamaya. And that way, Advaita Acharya Prabhu became a Grihastha Brahman Vaishnava in Navadvip. And he became the shelter of all the Vaishnavas in Navadvip. He would teach them, organize festivals, safeguard their devotion, and along with Brahma Haridas or Haridas Thakur, he would perform Sankirtan, waiting for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he would conduct his Ganga worship every day, Shaligram worship on the bank of Ganga. So Advaita Acharya worshipped Nrsimha Shaligram. In order to invoke Mahaprabhu's mercy, he worshipped Nrsimha Shaligram with pure Ganga water and tulsi. And his devotion was so intense that it pierced the 7 layers of the universe and went to Mahaprabhu, went to Krishna and Goloka to bring him to the material world to benedict the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. So Sita Thakurani played a very important role in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, assisting her husband, Sri Advaita Prabhu. Now, as we just heard, that Sita Thakurani is non-different from Yogamaya or Mahamaya. So Yogamaya, Mahamaya, they are combined in Sita Thakurani. The birth of Sita Thakurani is also very mysterious. It so happened that Nrsimha Bhaduri, he had no child. He was childless for many, many years. So he performed austerities. And then one day, he went to take his bath. And while he was taking bath in a lotus pond, he found this unique, amazing fragrance coming from somewhere. So Nrsimha Bhaduri was thinking that this is a lotus pond, and looks like some of the lotuses are more fragrant than others. So let me see, where is this smell coming from, this fragrance. This very divine, amazing fragrance was coming. So while he was looking for this lotus, he found there was a 100-petal lotus. Very, very fragrant. So out of curiosity, he went. And when he looked at the petals of this lotus, he saw something amazing. He saw that there was this matchless baby girl lying on the petals, on the whole of this lotus flower. And this girl was also very unusual. She was only of a size of a thumb, just very, very small. And he thought that human child is never like that, size of a thumb. But nevertheless, when he saw the girl, he felt so jubilant. This baby girl was so effulgent, and he felt in ecstasy seeing this girl. So what he did, he took the lotus flower along with the girl to his home. And coincidentally, his wife, Narsimhi, she was pregnant and she had given birth to a baby girl on the same day. So when he brought this lotus flower and presented the lotus flower with the baby girl to his wife, Narsimhi, they both became very, very jubilant. And while they were conversing with each other, that look, we had no child, and by the mercy of the Lord, now we have two daughters. But one daughter is only of the size of a thumb. So while they was conversing like that, Sita Devi transformed herself into a newly born baby girl. It's the normal size of a baby girl. Just like when we have childbirth, immediately they check the weight. So Sita Devi transformed herself into a normal weight baby girl. So now they have two daughters. First daughter was named as Sita Devi, and the second daughter as Sri Devi. Sri Devi is non-different from Mahalakshmi, and Sita Devi is non-different from Mahamaya. They both are Mahamaya and Mahalakshmi. So these two divine daughters, they were growing in the house of Nrsimha Bhaduri, and they would perform many, many wonderful activities. One day, a great sannyasi came to their house, and Nrsimha Bhaduri invited him to take his lunch. But this sannyasi, he had mystic powers. So he wanted to display some of his mystic powers of Anima, Laghima, Garima, like becoming lighter than the lightest and becoming greater than the greatest, Laghima, Garima, becoming heavier than the heaviest. So he wanted to display some powers to Nrsimha Bhaduri and his family. But he found that all his mystic powers were not working. He was unable to display any of his powers. So he was wondering, in his mind he was calculating what is happening, why my mystic powers are not coming in effect. Then he understood that these two daughters of Nrsimha Bhaduri are actually sources of all the mystic powers in the creation. So he prayed to Sita Devi. He prayed to her that please be merciful on me. I was trying to demonstrate my mystic powers, but I have understood that actually you are a Yogamaya herself, the source of all the mystic powers. So please be merciful on me and allow me to become liberated from the material entanglement. So Sita Devi then explained the superiority of devotional service over liberation to the sannyasi. She said that mukti is not desirable for pure devotees because the kind of nectar the devotees relish by serving the Lord is much, much higher, millions times higher than the enjoyment the Lord Himself gets. So mukti simply becomes an impediment in that eternal enjoyment of a devotee serving the Lord. Sridevi also explained, she said liberation is actually most abominable. So when this sannyasi heard the pravachan of these two young girls, he was convinced. He prayed to them to award him a pure devotional service. So from that day onwards, the sannyasi became a pure devotee. One time, Narsingh Bhaduri decided to go across the Ganga to attend a festival. He took his two daughters along with his servant and went to the bank of Ganga. Now, for some reason, he found that actually Ganga was having these big waves coming, and Ganga water was a bit disturbed. So he thought, I don't want to risk my daughters. So he asked them to stay on the bank. He took the boat and went to the festival himself. Amazingly, his two daughters, who were standing on the bank, suddenly transformed themselves through their mystic power and started walking on the waters of the Ganga. So when Narsingh Bhaduri looked at what was happening, he saw that his daughters are walking on the waters of the Ganga as if they are walking on the ground. He was totally amazed. At the same time, he was very pleased. So when other people saw that if these girls can walk, we can also walk. So they tried. So as soon as they went on the water, they drowned themselves and everyone started laughing at them. So there were many instances like that when Sita Thakurani and her sister Sridevi, they both performed these amazing pastimes. Sita Thakurani then gave birth to 3 sons of Advaitacharya Prabhu. Advaitacharya Prabhu had 6 sons. And these sons became great devotees of Mahaprabhu. When the Lord decided to incarnate, Advaitacharya Prabhu and Sita Thakurani, they both made arrangement for the Lord to appear. And finally, when the Lord appeared in the house of Jagannath Mishra, Advaitacharya Prabhu along with Brahma Haridas went to the bank of Ganga, took his bath and engaged himself in jubilant kirtan, Mahasankirtan. But he instructed Sita Thakurani to go and see the child, the divine child. So Jagannath Mishra had sent a message to Advaitacharya Prabhu that the much awaited child has appeared. Please come. Sita Thakurani came on a palanquin along with various kind of gifts. So there were many gifts. Now before we go to this pastime, talking about the gifts, one more very significant incident happened. Sri Acharya Prabhu and Sita Thakurani, they worshipped Shaligram Shila and they also worshipped Madan Gopal deity. So they used to offer everything to Madan Gopal, then distribute it to Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, and then take prasadam. One day, Srimad Madhavendra Puri appeared in the dream of Sita Devi and said that I have given Krishna mantra to your husband, Advait Prabhu. I also want to initiate you in Krishna mantra. Because you are cooking prasadam, you are cooking bhoga, and you are not initiated. So the Lord does not accept the offerings, those who are not initiated in a bona fide Krishna mantra. So when Sita Thakurani saw this dream, having said that, Madhavan Puripad then disappeared from the dream. So when she woke up, just after this, she woke up and told Advait Prabhu what has happened. Advait Prabhu said that Shripad Madhavan Puri has given him indication, and then he gave the Krishna mantra to Sita Thakurani. So this is significant because just like Mahaprabhu, Sriman Mahaprabhu did not want to accept the breast milk of his mother Sachima unless she was initiated by Advait Prabhu. So Advait Prabhu initiated Sachimata, and then Mahaprabhu accepted her breast milk. Because without initiation, that was bhoga. And Mahaprabhu was in the mood of a devotee. So a devotee does not accept bhoga. He only accepts prasad. So from that day, Sita Thakurani cooked for her deity, and she also cooked for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in later years. So Sita Thakurani comes to Mahaprabhu to see Mahaprabhu. She came on a palanquin, decorated, nicely decorated palanquin, and she brought so many wonderful offerings. She brought golden ornaments, bangles, necklaces, anklets, silk saris. She also brought many auspicious items like fresh grass, paddy, gorochan, turmeric, kumkum, sandalwood, and many eatables and dresses. When she came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately she recognized that this divine child is non-different from Brijendranadan Krishna. Only difference is his color. And she gave many instructions to Mother Sachi, how to bring up this divine child. After this, every other day or sometimes every day, she would come to Sachi Mata and help Sachima to bring up a Vishwambhar, Nimai. The name Nimai was given by Sita Thakurani to Mahaprabhu because she said to Sachi Mata that there are many ghosts and witches and hobgoblins who can affect the young child because he is born under the neem tree. He should be called Nimai, and this name will also keep all the ghosts and witches away from him. So this beautiful name, Nimai, was given by Sita Thakurani. In the early childhood years of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sita Thakurani helped Sachi Mata because her mood was of the same, full of affection as a mother to her child. So Mahaprabhu then grew up to be a young child, and Sita Thakurani then would cook for Vishwambhar. Time to time, Mahaprabhu was invited to Shantipur. He would go there and Sita Thakurani would cook for him and feed him. And Mahaprabhu carried on taking their services even when he became a sannyasi. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas, he went to Katwa, took sannyas, and wanted to leave for Vrindavan. But because of his affection, it so happened that for 4 days Mahaprabhu was walking on the banks of Ganga, thinking that he was going to Vrindavan. He ended up in Shantipur. By the arrangement of Lord Nityanand, he ended up in Shantipur. So again, Sita Thakurani cooked for Mahaprabhu when the Lord had taken sannyas. And every year, Advait Prabhu and Sita Thakurani, they would go to Jagannath Puri and stay there, cook for the Lord, invite him to take prasadam at their house, and that remained her service until Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from the planet. So to Sita Thakurani as the consort of Sri Advait Prabhu assists him in this incarnation because Advait Prabhu is responsible for bringing the Lord to this material world. At his request, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and when Advait Prabhu decided that the mission of the Lord is complete, he wrote a letter to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now there's plenty of rice in the market. There's no more need. The market is full of rice. So he wrote a very mysterious letter. Nobody could understand what he meant.
We had call if you want to call her.
So having received this letter, then Advait Prabhu, Mahaprabhu decided to leave the planet. So Advait Prabhu and Sita Thakurani, they both served the Lord throughout his pastimes as Kaliyug Pavan Avatar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And today, on this appearance day of Sita Thakurani, we pray at her lotus feet to allow us the service to Sri Sri Gauranitai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Sri Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. So now we spend some time to hear the glory of Srimati Radharani. Radhastami is coming on Monday, on Wednesday, as we said. So now we will hear some glories of Srimati Radharani. I'm going to start with a verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 30, and verse 28. Anyaradhito nunam Bhagwan Haririshwara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Aniyadraha Anya Aradhito Nunam Bhagwan Haririshwara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Aniyadraha Anyaradhito Nunam Bhagwan Haririshwara Yanno Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Aniyadraha. Translation and purport. Certainly, this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda. Since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that the word Aradhita refers to Srimati Radharani. He comments, the sage Shukdev Goswami has tried with all endeavor to keep her name hidden. But now it automatically shines forth from the moon of his mouth. That he has spoken her name is indeed her mercy. And thus, the word Aradhita is like the rumbling of a kettle drum, sounded to announce her great good fortune. Although the gopis spoke as if jealous of Srimati Radharani, they were actually ecstatic to see that she had captured Sri Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes the following detailed descriptions of Srimati Radharani's footprints as given by Sri Rupa Goswami in his Sri Ujjwal Neenamani. At the base of the large toe of her left foot is the mark of a barleycorn. Below that mark is a disc. Below the disc is an umbrella, and below the umbrella is a bracelet. A vertical line extends from the middle of her foot to the juncture of her large and second toes. At the base of the middle toe is a lotus. Below that is a flag with a banner, and below the flag is a creeper together with a flower. At the base of her small toe is an elephant goat, and upon her heel is a half moon. Thus there are 11 marks on her left foot. At the base of the large toe of her right foot is a conch shell, and below that is spear. At the base of the small toe of her right foot is a sacrificial altar. Below that an earring, and below the earring a club. Along the base of the second, third, fourth, and small toes is the mark of a mountain, below which is a chariot, and on the heel is a fish. Thus all together there are 19 distinguishing marks on the soles of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. Srimati Radharani ki jai. So these descriptions of the divine signs of lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, they prove that Srimati Radharani is not ordinary. She is the divine consort of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. The verse that we just read in Srimad Bhagavatam is the only verse that describes Srimati Radharani indirectly in the scriptures, particularly in Srimad Bhagavatam. So sometimes people say that you worship Srimati Radharani, but there's no description in Srimad Bhagavatam, no clear description or no vivid description in Srimad Bhagavatam. The reason for that is that Shukadeva Goswami happens to be the parrot of Srimati Radharani. And whenever he remembered Srimati Radharani or he uttered her name, he would go in Samadhi. Now Parikshit Maharaj only had 7 days to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So if Shukadeva Goswami uttered the name of Radharani more vividly, he would go in Samadhi. And here the time is passing. So then Parikshit Maharaj will be in trouble. Who will recite Srimad Bhagavatam? So knowingly, he did not recite the name of Srimati Radharani clearly. But this description proves who he is referring to. Anya Radhita Nunam Bhagwan Haririshwara Tanno Vihaya Govinda Anyat. So Tanno Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Anyat Raha. The incident is from the past times in Vrindavan that the gopis are looking for Srimati Radharani because Krishna has left all of them So they are looking for Srimati Radharani. First of all, they are looking for Krishna. But they found that Radharani is missing. So they are looking for her. And they have come to the conclusion that actually this special gopi called Radha is very dear to the Lord Hari. So they are saying, Anaya Radhata Nunam. Certainly this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead Govinda. Since he was pleased with her, he has abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. Why is Prabhupada giving the descriptions of Radharani's lotus feet on this purport? The reason is because the gopis are looking for Krishna and they can see the lotus marks, the marks of lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So they are looking for the marks of Krishna's lotus feet and Radharani's lotus feet. And they are very distinguishable. They are very, very distinct. So as we just heard, Srimati Radharani's lotus feet have 19 very distinct marks. So no human beings or demigods or any other living entity would have those marks. And similarly, nobody would have marks Krishna has on his lotus feet. So they are very, very distinct mark of their divine appearance. So on Wednesday, we celebrate Srimati Radharani's appearance day. And whatever time is now left, we'll hear some pastimes of Srimati Radharani's appearance. Now, before we move on to the pastimes, I'm just going to take a couple of verses from the Vedas and Upanishads that describe Srimati Radharani. This is from Chandogya Upanishad. Okay, let's start from Sam Veda. So 3 Vedas, Rig, Sam, Atharva, they all describe the name of Srimati Radharani. So this is description. Shama Chabalam Prapadde, Chabalat Shamam Prapadde. This is found in Rig Veda, in Sama Veda, in Atharva Veda, all 3 Vedas. O hero, Radhanath, this kind of stotra, which is very much befitting for your glorification and your opulence, vibhuti, let all these be true and lovable. So a devotee is praying to Krishna. And the other description found in Chandogya Upanishad, we find the mantra we just chanted earlier on. Shama Shabalam Prapadde. Shabalat Shamam Prapadde. I get Shabal. Shabal, Radha, source of all kinds of vilasas. So Shabal is another name of Radharani. And so I get Shabal, Radha from Shyam. From Shyam, I get Shabal from Shyam, and from Shyam I get Shabal. So Shyamat Shabalam Prapadde, Sabalat Shyamam Prapadde. I get Shabal from Shyam, from Shabal Radha I get Shyam. Similar meaning. So I get Shabal or Radha from Shyam, and from Shabal I get Shyam. Shyama Shyam. So when you go to Vrindavan, you must have heard Shyama Shyam. Madhav Madane Murari Radhe Sham Shama Sham. Keshav Kali Malihari Radhe. Sham Shama Sham. Madhav Madan Murari Radhe. Sham Shama Sham. So the Shama Sham is coming from Chandogya Upanishad. Similar description. Shamat Shavalam Prabhade. Shavalat Shamam Prabhade. I get Shaval, Radha from Sham, and from Shaval I get Sham. So Shama Sham. Okay. Maybe just take one more description. This is from Gautami Tantra. Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanti Sanamoni Para Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanti Sammohini Para. So this is from Gautamiya Tantra. So similarly, there are many descriptions in the Puranas. So Devi Krishnamayi Prokta, this divine goddess, Srimati Radharani, is Krishnamayi. She is completely absorbed in Krishna. Radhika Paradevata, Srimati Radharani is Paradevata, is supremely divine goddess. Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva. So she is the supreme Lakshmi. Just like in Brahma Samhita, we find the description Lakshmi Shahasra Sat Samram Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. So Krishna is being worshipped by millions of Lakshmis. So Srimati Radharani is the topmost source of Mahalakshmi. And we have just read the description found in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anya Radhita Nunam Bhagwan Haririshwara. Gopis are saying that this gopi called Radha is most dear to Lord Hari. Now, how was Srimati Radharani? How did Srimati Radharani appear? In the scriptures, we find various descriptions. So we are going to take maybe two different descriptions of the appearance of Srimati Radharani. So this description is from Lalit Madhav. In Lalit Madhav, Purnamasi, we just heard about Purnamasi, Sita Thakurani, who appears 500 years ago. Same Sita Thakurani appeared as Purnamasi in Brij Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan. So Purnamasi is explaining Srimati Radharani's appearance to Gargi, the daughter of Gargacharya. And this description is found in Lalit Madhav, written by Srila Rupa Goswami. This information was very confidential, and this was only known to Mother Yashoda and Rohini. So in Lalit Madhav we find the appearance of Srimati Radharani. that in Vindhya Parvat, this Vindhya Parvat is not far from Prayagraj, Allahabad. In my childhood, I was taken to Vindhyachal, and I had no idea where I was going. So, as a young child, about 9 or 10, we went to Vindhyachal mountain, and on the top of the mountain, there's a temple of Vindhyavasini. It's a goddess. So, Vindhyavasini Devi. So, in the Vindhya mountain, the personality of Vindhyachal, Vindhya mountain, he became a bit envious of Himalaya mountain. And the reason for envy was that Himalaya is known as the king of mountain because he has Parvati as his divine daughter who married Mahadev. So Himalaya mountain is so glorified as the father of Parvati, goddess Parvati. And Parvati Devi is known as Parvati because she is the daughter of Parvat, the mountain, Himalaya. So people call her Parvati. So Vindhyachal mountain, this Vindhya mountain, also thought that how nice it would be if I can get a daughter who can marry a husband who would defeat Mahadev in the battle. And with this desire in mind, he started performing very, very severe austerities. So here we have to understand that these mountains, rivers, they all have personalities. Just like we worship Govardhan, and when Krishna worshipped Govardhan, Krishna assumed the personality of Govardhan and took all the offerings by Brijvasis and started eating them. And Brijvasis also saw him eating. And Govardhan was saying, Anyor, Anyor, bring more, bring more, bring more, Anyor. So that village is there in Govardhan, Anyor, bring more. So they all have personalities. Mother Ganga, Ganga river, Yamuna river, they all have personalities. So by being pleased by the austerities of Vindhya mountain, Lord Brahma then appeared. Lord Brahma said, why are you performing these austerities and what can I do for you? He said, oh Parampita, I want a daughter who would marry a husband who can defeat Mahadev in battle. So Lord Brahma was very pleased with these austerities, so he just ended up saying Tathastu. But when he said Tathastu, then Lord Brahma was perturbed. He thought that Mahadev is known as Devadhideva. Now who is going to defeat Mahadev? His very name is Mahadev. Mahadev is so great that although he appears to be manifested from Lord Brahma, but he can create hundreds of Brahmas. He is so powerful, Mahadev. So who's going to defeat him? So while he was thinking like that, he started worshipping Srimati Radharani. And he said, when Srimati Radharani appeared to Lord Brahma, he prayed that, O Goddess, Srimati Radharani, please, you make my words come true. Because you are the only one who would marry your eternal consort, Sri Hari. And he is the only one who can defeat Mahadev. So please, you make my words come true. So Srimati Radharani appeared, agreed. She blessed Lord Brahma and said, yes, I would appear as the daughter of Vindhya mountain. So Radharani and Chandravali, they both appeared in the womb of Vindhyachal's wife. When these two divine daughters were born, the Vindhya mountain was so happy. So they were just performing these ceremonies. And here in Brijmandal, Vasudevji had taken Vasudeva Krishna to Nanda Gokul and brought their daughter to Mathura. The daughter slipped from the hands of Kamsa and told Kamsa that your attempt to kill me is futile. The person who is going to kill you has already born somewhere, and it's better that you don't give any trouble to Vasudeva and Devaki anymore. So Kansa had ordered Putana and other demons, particularly Putana, to kill all the children that were born during that time. So Putana was going around capturing children and killing them. So she had the mystic powers to fly, take any form she wanted, and she happened to see that there was a great festival going on the top of Vindhya mountain. So she went there and kidnapped those two children, two daughters, Chandravali and Radha. So when Putana was flying away with these two daughters, it so happened that Vindhya mountain found out that his daughters were abducted, and he asked the priests, qualified brahmanas, to chant the mantras so that whoever has taken his daughters will actually die. So while these priests were chanting mantras, Putana started fainting and feeling very, very weak. So in her weakness, she dropped one child, Chandravali, in a river. That Chandravali then happened to be, she happened to be in the kingdom of Bhishmak, who becomes the father of Rukmini Devi. But Srimati Radharani was still in the hands of Putana. And these priests were chanting mantras. They were carrying on chanting mantras. So it so happened that when Putana came to Vrindavan, she dropped Radharani as well. And Radharani fell on this lotus flower, 1,000-petal lotus flower. King Vrishabhanu, who was taking bath in Yamuna, then he found Srimati Radharani, this lotus flower, and when he looked at the lotus flower, he found Srimati Radharani there. He had never seen a child like this, so beautiful. But he also noticed that she was blind, she was deaf, and she was dumb. So she appeared to be deaf, dumb, and blind, but still, he took her to his wife Kirtida. So that way, Srimati Radharani appeared in the house of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. And later on, Chandravali also came to Vrindavan. She was brought to Vrindavan in the house of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. So they both became his daughters. So although there are many variations, many different types of pastimes of the appearance of Srimati Radharani, according to different kalpas, different pastimes happen. She becomes the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and she does not open her eyes until she sees Krishna. Now, before we finish today, I'm just going to just highlight a couple of things here. When Maharaj Vrishabhanu wanted a child, Purnamasi advised him to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and fast. So he was fasting and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. As a result, then he found Srimati Radharani on the lotus flower. So that way we can see that the chanting of Mahamantra is very, very powerful, and the desire of Vrishabhanu Maharaj was fulfilled when he chanted the Mahamantra at the advice of Purnamasi Devi. So divine appearance of Srimati Radharani is coming in a couple of days' time. This was just to remind ourselves. You'll be hearing many more pastimes and lot more glorification over the few days. So we'll stop here and wait for your questions and comment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That is so wonderful. So it was very enlightening, and so many pastimes we heard about Sita Thakurani. We usually don't hear all these things. So thank you so much. So could you just clarify, is she Mahamaya or actually Yogamaya, or is a combined incarnation?
Sita Thakurani is known as Yogamaya, but actually on the transcendental plane, Yogamaya, Mahamaya actually they transform. Just like we see in the material world. This is Devi Dham. So Golok Namni Nijdhamni Talechatasya Devi Mahesh Hari Dhamashu Teshu Teshu. So this is Devi Dham. Therefore, everything here is manifestation or under control of Mahamaya. But same Mahamaya then transforms into Yogamaya. So just like the devotees, they use the material things, and those material things used in Krishna's service then transform into spiritual things. So that way Mahamaya, Yogamaya separation is not there. So Yogamaya, just like when Yogamaya comes in the hands of Kansa, she takes the form of Ashtabhuji Durga. And Kansa was a devotee of Durga Devi. So when he sees Ashtabhuji Durga in the sky, he immediately takes her seriously because he is the devotee of Durga. And Durga is telling him that don't torture Vasudevan Devaki. And he listens to her. After that, he listens to her and he frees them from the prison. And with tears in his eyes, he is asking for forgiveness from Vasudevan Devaki. So, Yogamaya took the form of Mahamaya. And similarly, when the devotees that take shelter of Mahamaya to become connected to Krishna, so Mahamaya acts like Yogamaya. So both are Krishna's energy, and they are, in a way, they are inseparable.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful clarification, Prabhu. And also, thank you very much for just to give a little bit of brief introduction to Srimati Radharani and her appearance, divine appearance. And nicely you started with the Srimad Bhagavatam verse Anya Radhita Nunam, and you nicely explained about the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani so that we can meditate. in the next couple of days. So that was so wonderful. And so Prabhuji has kindly agreed to give class on Radhashtami, 7 o'clock. So please, make a note and do come and participate. So Prabhuji will carry on from where we stopped today. That was so wonderful. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Really appreciate for your time. So there are devotees mentioning that the class was wonderful and they are thanking you. I can see a couple of comments here and there. And so for Manchester congregation, Radhashtami, we are celebrating virtual. This is the this is the current situation. It is the current custom, current norm now. Everything is on Zoom and online, virtual. Devotees here at Manchester have planned a wonderful program, even though it's a working day. So we have a full morning program starting from 5 a.m. There is full Mangal Aarti, and Tulsi Aarti and Darshan, and then followed by Guru Puja, and there will be morning class as well. So full morning program. So that's starting from 5 a.m. And in the evening, we have a program starting from 7 p.m. As I mentioned, 7 p.m. We will begin with class by His Grace Raghupathi Prabhu. So then there will be a children program as the message has been sent out, that children can dress up as Radharani, or they can, mention some pastime of Krishna Radharani, or even a painting of Radha Krishna they can show. But if they want to do so, they have to, send a message to the phone number that's been given, so that we will make a note of the children to be, participated and work it accordingly. And at the end, we have a flower abhishek. This is our, Manchester speciality for Radhashtami. Gaudiya Vaishnav's Radhashtami is so special. So devotees always very much eager to see this flower abhishek of Srimati Radharani, Radha Krishna, for Radhashtami. We have been doing for a number of years, and we would like to continue this year, even in lockdown. So this will be done from a devotee's house, and at the end, there will be Maharti for everyone's pleasure. So we will have expense towards flowers, mainly flowers. Few hundred pounds it would cost us. But if any devotees are willing to sponsor, they can contact me or just directly transfer money into the temple account, and the donations are very much, kindly received, gratefully received. So thank you very much, and His Grace Raghupathi Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for tuning in today, and I would love to see you all on Radhashtami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Shri Prabhupada ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna.
Ved Bhaktavrind ki jai.
Yeah.
Gaur Pramanande.
Hari Hari Bol.